Before we speak at length, I believe a change of surrounds is in order. I have more than ill tidings to share, you see. I sensed others arriving not long ago. Though my communions with Heidelin have grown infrequent, I have learned enough from her to know that these are your comrades. And as luck would have it, they have already reached my abode. Come, let us join them. Alright. I'm gonna be a little lazy here, though. And, go ahead and tally back. And then take Fenrir, Devourer of Worlds. And let's have a chat with Monsieur Walsher. Oh wow, I can just do everything right there. That is friggin' awesome. Alright. Dare I ask what happened before we arrived? You really don't want to know, buddy. May we presume this being is a native of the moon? Yes, they are indeed the three I sensed. Alright, Ishtola, hit me. What you got? Thank goodness you are unharmed. We did what we could to subdue the Tempered before making our way here. Not without casualties, unfortunately. Some few detonated explosives, killing themselves and others. The contingent's healers had their hands full tending to the injured and enthralled when we took our leave. Lest you wonder, Mistress Kryl hath also been delivered unto their care. Serving as a conduit for Heidelin's power hath taken its toll, but she will recover in due course. As for Alphino and Alice, they insisted on remaining in Garlemald, while we three rushed to your aid. It appears, however, that matters here have already come to a conclusion. Sort of? Kinda? A conclusion, yes. But what manner of conclusion, if I might ask? And is this the ally whom Heidelin bade you seek out? He is not unlike the shades of Amaro. Not unlike, perhaps, but not the same. I was created by Heidelin. Together with this place, it has ever been my duty to keep vigil over Zodiark. Or rather, it was my duty. Yeah. Then Zodiark is no more? And not without consequence, I am afraid. For now the delicate weave of the star, preserved by his presence, will begin to unravel. If you mean to avert the final days, you shall have need of... Oh. Are you alright? Ha! No. My attempts to forestall Zodiark's release have all but exhausted my strength. If you might allow me to rest a short while, I will share with you all I can. He's gonna die and disappear. Please do. You need not exert yourself on our account. These crystals contain records of your time here, yes? May we peruse them while we wait? By all means. If you would review them chronologically, might I suggest beginning with those on the upper floor? I shall leave that to you, Sagenhaft, while I see what can be gleaned from the crystals on these lower levels. I wonder what's in those chests of wonders. Who do we have here? Akai Zero Nor. A moment longer, friend. Poor guy. Pray review the records on the upper floor, and I will see if there is aught to be learned down here. Alright, heading up to the first floor. What does Thancred have to say? Zodiark defeated. While he may have been in an incomplete state, that's nevertheless an impressive feat. Is. But even if you hadn't, his demise was inevitable. Van Daniel would have seen to it one way or the other. That said, he probably would have wielded Zodiark's power to wreak untold destruction before taking his own life, making this the better of two unfavorable outcomes. Which is valid. It is quite valid. Urianger? Dost thou suppose our host hath maintained his solitary vigil since the very beginning, without rest or relief? If so, these records comprise the sum total of his existence. We must needs handle them with care. I know, I thought I was going to pick what... Oh, dropped it. What does this one have to say? I bet it's going to be a video. Aw. As you gaze into the crystal, ancient knowledge of Zodiark flows through your mind. Daily summary, no abnormalities detected. These appear to be records of a long, lonely vigil on the moon, dating back to the beginning of Zodiark's imprisonment. Well, that was a sincere letdown. I thought we were going to get this epic cinematic or something. No. Nothing new. That's fair, I guess. Oh. But can your mount do this? Oh. There was more. Oops. I got excited, folks. My bad. I wonder if we're gonna keep doing another blue. Oh, it's gonna be a tiny one this time. All right. Let's see. As you gaze into the crystal, the records describe how with each rejoining, Zodiark's thirst for freedom grew, as did the strain on the brands. Maintaining Zodiark's imprisonment appears to tax Hydaelyn greatly. Yeah, that makes sense. As I stare into the crystal, the records describe the Watcher's efforts to prepare in the event Zodiark broke free from his prison. The records go on to describe maintenance carried out regularly with the Loporotis, though it is not clear who or what they are. As you stare into the crystal, the records note the Watcher's musings when Elidibus is spotted on the moon, though clearly not for the first time. It is clear he and his brethren have a keen interest in freeing Zodiark from his prison, and yet they have made no attempt to destroy the brands. Perhaps they prefer he remain hidden from mortal eyes until the final rejoining. Perhaps they realize we would never dare bring harm to Zodiark so long as he remains in prison. That could also be. Did you learn anything of import? Depends. So it is as we suspected. Maintaining the brands requires a great deal of her energy and focus, and this cost has grown higher with every rejoining. That would explain why contact with her has become rather infrequent since the 7th Umbral Calamity. I too made a rather startling discovery. This heavenly body we know to be the moon was in fact created by Hydaelyn. When the Watcher said he was created together with this place, I thought he only meant this facility. Truly, Hydaelyn's powers are far beyond anything I could have imagined. I thank you for affording me this short reprieve. No problem.
It is we who should thank you. There is much we could learn of Zodiac and his imprisonment, but perhaps you could offer us more focused guidance. Pray, tell us of the calamity that came before and comes now again.
Long ago, before the Great Sundering, there was but a single world, Aetheres. One day, from within the earth, a terrible cry issued forth, affecting a profound change in all manner of life. We were not exempt. Our creation magics ran rampant, giving shape and form to thoughts of hopelessness and despair. At first, this phenomenon was limited to a single region, but quickly, so very quickly, it spread and engulfed the whole of the star.
Were the ancients ever able to deduce its source?
Negative. They were not. However, the convocation struck upon a method to predict where next the corruption would manifest. That's what these giant pins are. The etheric energies which flow through all of creation in the form of various currents. The currents which course through the land and seas. Those which flow through the very air. And those of a celestial nature which encompass both our star and this moon.
Celestial currents. I cannot say I am familiar with the concept.
Nor would I expect you to be. Few scholars of our time knew of their existence. Their invaluable knowledge helped us to better understand the nature of the calamity. They were playing God. Like the terrestrial ones of earth and air, the celestial currents form a vast network, but the ethereal distribution is not consistent. The convocation soon realized that the inciting incidents occurred in regions where the flow was weakest. Correlation without clear cause. Ultimately, nevertheless, on closer study, a stagnancy of aether was observed in nearby currents. Alright, we did not in fact lose the stream. Thank God. Let me go ahead and... Oh, cool, I didn't stop recording too. Alright, carrying on.
And so they sought a means to harness the forces of darkness, of activity and growth. Thus was Zodiac conceived. No less a power than a god's could set right the laws of nature and quicken the flow of ether within the star.
Exactly. Precisely. With the advent of Zodiac, our end was averted.
Emmett Selk claimed that those who summoned Hydaelyn did so because they saw Zodiac's power as a threat. Is that true?
Indeed, there was a faction opposed to Zodiark's creation, but their aim was never to unmake him. They understood the continued preservation of the natural order was dependent on his very existence. Until we could identify and address the underlying cause of the final days, he would need to remain, for his departure would set in motion those apocalyptic forces once more. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, if you summon... Okay, even if we're not talking wibbly-wobbly magic, right? If you build a dam to stop, a flood, for instance, and you don't know what caused the flood to begin with, then, yeah, getting rid of the dam is just going to cause the flood all over again. So that makes perfect sense. Hydaelyn recognized this as well, and so, rather than destroy, she sundered Zodiark herself, and the star into lesser reflections, that she might confine him in this place. I could have sworn she beseeched me to banish the darkness. Then what she told me in the ethereal sea was false? That the two once dwelled as one until Zodiark grew hungry for power, upsetting the balance twixt them? Not quite a lie, though a rather gross embellishment. But knowing what you know now, you must surely realize why she might opt to obfuscate and mislead. Hydaelyn and Zodiark are both constructs of man, approximations of perfection limited by our own imperfections. Zodiark was, without question, the more powerful of the two, having been born from the sacrifice of half Etheri's population. Thus was it necessary for Hydaelyn to commit herself wholly to his defeat. Still more effort was needed to confine him. Maintaining the brands taxed her greatly. With what power she dared spare, she cried out to any who might listen, and offered her blessing to those who heeded her call. Though it was likely within her power to do so, I believe she did not wish to speak of Atheris and her history. Like Zodiark, Hydaelyn's purpose is a reflection of her creators. They wish to look into the future and not linger in a prison of the past.
The Ascians set in motion 7 rejoinings before we came to oppose them. How many more worlds would have been lost had we not placed our faith in her? How many more souls living in the present would have been snuffed out for the sake of those long dead?
Well, in light of recent events, I see no reason to doubt your words. And even if Hydaelyn is not a god in truth, if Minfilia believed that we should trust in her plans, then I choose to do just that. Which brings me to a rather important question. Let's suppose we try but fail to stop this second coming of the final days. Should the source fall, what will become of the other worlds?
Yeah, that is a key distinction. The player land area, is the source, whereas in Shadowbringers, to prevent the 7th Umbral Calamity of Light, you went to the first. So out of 14, we are the source, then the first, and then there's 13 more. And that's kind of funny because that's how we've been depicted in this game so far, and now it's going to be revealed how true that actually has been. The lore, like, instead of retconning the lore, it's kind of like for the past however long this game has been out, we've been learning piecemeal from one side of the story, the history of the Ascians, the Great Sundering, Hydaelyn, Zodiark, the Ascians. We finally learned the name of the home planet, the whole 9 yards, and now we're getting the other side of the story, or the whole truth, however you choose to think of it. Bring ruin to the source, and its reflections will share in its fate. So we have our work cut out for us. It's a good thing we, the players, showed up in the source and not like on the 7th. It is ready. This way, if you would be so kind. A beautiful sight, is it not?
Yes, but what is it?
Oh, not the planet. Hydaelyn knew better than any that her power was not absolute. Indeed, she has ever struggled to hold Zodiark and his faithful at bay. She feared the worst, and so made preparations. In the event of his demise, there would be a contingency. You need not go far to find its pilots. In fact, I should be happy to take you to them. And fulfill my final duty as Watcher in the Dark. I'm digging it.